What is up, fantasy fans? As always, I'm Shay from the channel Zachary Shay, narrator of The Gallant by Janny Wirtz. And today I'm going to be talking about my priority reads for the rest of 2026. It's kind of crazy. We're already at the midway point of the year. And it's been, I wouldn't say it's a slow reading year for me, but there's a lot of series that have been on the bracket that I haven't gotten to, a few classics that I've wanted to get to. So I'm just mapping out like the things that are top priority that will be finished this year, the stuff that might get finished this year, and the stuff that like definitely won't be finished this year. I'm going to go over all the different series I'm in the middle of, and then there's also some reads that are not part of an ongoing series that I'm prioritizing in 2026. So yeah, with no further ado, the number one thing on the bracket is absolutely Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wirtz. I am almost halfway through Peril's Gate. Oh my gosh. I believe this has overtaken Malazan as my favorite series of all time. Yeah, this book is absolutely wowing me right now, but I'm also keeping myself on a strict regiment. I am reading 2 chapters a day, which herd chapters can be pretty girthy, you know, but I'm keeping myself on a 2 chapter a day regiment. I will finish up to book 9 before school starts, and then I can audiobook 10 and 11 while I'm in school. Because when I'm in school, I don't have a lot of physical reading time. Most of my reading is done on audiobook while I'm cleaning around the house, doing laundry, commuting to school. So yeah, hoping to finish these next 3 or 4 books. Yeah, this is book 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I just need to finish those 4, and then I will be, practically done with the series. I just have the 2 that have amazing audiobook narration by Colin Mace. I've sampled them. They sound brilliant. I know Colin Mace is going to be an absolute unit in narrating these audiobooks. So, once I get past Initiate's trial, I can audiobook them while I'm in school. So that's my main goal, is to catch up all the way to book 9. I'm actually way behind on the buddy read that John from Talking Story was kind enough to let me in on. But another series I want to catch up on, it shouldn't be too hard, is the Cosmere. All I have is Isles of the Emberdark, but I think those Hoyd stories are coming out, and that other secret project that I definitely backed, so I don't even remember its name, but I'm going to read those on release after I finish Isles of the Emberdark if I can. Yeah, super excited to read this. I always love Sanderson. I know it's become a hot thing to kind of dog on Sanderson now on BookTube. It feels like when you get any level of success that's that high, you're going to have people constantly wanting to like, oh, it's not that good. I don't go to Sanderson for Wirtz prose, I don't go to him for that. I don't go to him for Wirtz's depth. I go to him for just a fun romp, which like her books are a fun romp as well, just with she's incapable of writing a story that doesn't have an astounding amount of depth. But that's enough Janny Wirtz glaze for the day. I could talk about Janny Wirtz all day, every day. All right, and then next up, I don't have the next book in the series with me. I'm waiting on Lion's Pride, book 4 in the Drowned Kingdom saga. So I'm going to echo my friend Jake here. Book 3 in this series really cemented Drowned Kingdom as a must-read fantasy series. I enjoyed book 1 and 2, but it's like, would I have recommended them widely to everyone? Yes, because PL's that great of a guy and the series is that high of a quality. But book 3 really cemented like, okay, this is something that like is doing something different than any other series out there right now. It makes it must-read fantasy. Like, it's doing enough. This third book, it's like, okay, now the series is officially doing something that no other series I've read has done the way it's done, and it just really stands out. And yeah, I'm actually doing a buddy read on my channel with Philip Chase, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Nikhil from Shelf Esteem, David from Four Corners of the Page, and we're just having a fun time chatting about it. The greatest, nicest group of guys you could ever ask for. Me and the Drowned Kings be chatting it up about this one. And then next up, we have a series that I should be finishing, honestly, within the next week or so, and that is the Wolf Hall trilogy by Hilary Mantel. I'm on book 3, The Mirror and the Light, adoring it. The narration she gives for Thomas Cromwell is so badass. It's like no one would think of these one-liners, like every single time a noble has some snide remark for Cromwell, he immediately hits them with like the slickest thing you've ever heard. And it's like, I'm aware Cromwell was very intelligent. Nobody's this sharp. Like, no one can think of these lines off the dome. If you enjoy Tyrion Lannister, it's like Tyrion Lannister meets Michael Corleone. Like, it's just the way she writes Cromwell is so captivating. Oh man, it's so freaking good. Next series on my list, so I have book 3 in the Essex Dogs trilogy. Really enjoying this series. Dan Jones becoming one of my favorite historical writers. His historical fiction trilogy, the Essex Dogs trilogy, is an absolute joy to read. Next, I want to finish the Hellboy comic. So this is something I've actually been prioritizing lately. I follow this one website that breaks down all the different Mike Mignola Hellboy universe stories based on publication order, and I've been reading it that way, and it's been very fulfilling for me. There's a lot of plot threads that come together in very satisfying ways. Some of them, like Lobster Johnson, I think are pretty skippable and don't add much to the narrative, but a lot of them, like BPRD Vampire, like really recontextualizes how I feel about this world, and it has a lot of cool characters and awesome art to boot. So yeah, Hellboy universe, definitely finishing it this year. Probably in the next 2 months. Next up, we have Bound and the Broken. So I have the Exile up next. I'm going to give it the Exile and then the third book in the series to see if I continue onward. This will not be one I finish this year. I'm hoping to finish book 3 this year, and that will dictate whether or not I will read book 4 in the coming year, or if I read the Ice, because I thought book 2 was a big step up from book 1, and I was never as hard on book 1 as most others are, but I still didn't think book 2 was like doing anything crazy that I haven't seen done in other fantasy series. So, jury's still a little bit out on Cahill's series, but I am excited to get to that, that third book. Blade of the Immortal, the manga. I have 5 volumes left. I'm at the halfway mark. They're kind of pricey, and I'm just not a big manga reader in general. I enjoy manga, but it's not my favorite medium. I don't enjoy it as much as I do novels and comics. So, as I, have extra money lying around and I can afford an omnibus or the deluxe editions, I'll continue to read it. And, it's probably damaging my enjoyment of the series because every single time I start a new deluxe volume, I have to sort of remember what was going on. I remember Manji and Rin, but a lot of the side characters kind of get hazy. It is a great series. I think it is, if you love Berserk, this is the series you've been looking for, more so than Vagabond, more so than Vinland Saga. Blade of the Immortal is like an East Asian, Blade of the Immortal is like the Japanese Berserk, like the Japanese setting Berserk. It's so good. It's so much fun. I enjoy it. A lot of these plot points I enjoy more than Berserk, but I just haven't been in a big manga mood, but it's one of the few manga that I'm actually dedicated on finishing. A lot of them I've kind of dropped. Dungeon Crawler Carl. I have 7 books now. I've only read book 1. I will not be finishing it this year. I hope to just read 2 more. If I can read Carl's Doomsday Scenario and whatever the third one is, then I'll be happy. I just want to get through 2 more. And then I really enjoyed book 1. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I'm not a big progression fantasy person, and it actually hooked me. So that was kind of rare. And it's just, other series kept coming in the way, and I love comedy in my series, but I don't read just for comedy usually. But every time I do think about reading for comedy, this is the first series that comes to mind. All right, we have the Gwambi Tetralogy. I read book 1. I absolutely adored it. Hope to get to books 2 and 3. Book 2 for sure this year will happen. Book 3, I don't know. We'll see. Song of Ice and Fire. So I read this when I was younger, so young. I read Dance of Dragons when it came out, and I was 12 when it came out. So a lot of this went over my head. I just remember when the sex scenes were happening, I didn't even know what was going on. I knew what sex was at 12. Well, I actually started the series before I was 12, but I'd been reading it a little. My sister had all the books, and I would read pretty much whatever my sister had on the shelf, I would read. I read the Magician's Trilogy when I was way too young. I read Game of Thrones when I was way too young. I just wanted to read whatever my sister was reading. A lot of the sex stuff in here, I was just I don't know. I thought that was a weird thing to have in a book, so I just kind of skimmed those parts. And there's a lot of parts I didn't understand just from a plot perspective that I didn't understand that I skimmed through. So as an adult, I'm can I really say I read A Song of Ice and Fire? No. So I've been listening to them, the Roy Dotrice narrations. I'm waiting on the second one at my library through Libby. And yeah, I'm going to start Clash of Kings here probably in about 3 weeks or so. I have 1 book left in the Edan world. It's not part of the Edan trilogy. It is a sequel to the Edan trilogy. And from what I've heard, this is sort of a bridge book to the next trilogy he's writing that, continues the story of the characters we knew from the Edan trilogy while creating new, I won't even say legacy characters, but they're carrying on the mantle. I have a bookmark in it, but it's on page 1. I haven't really started it. I'm waiting to wrap up some comics because, like I said, I'm on a strict regiment with Peril's Gate. I've been reading 2 chapters a day, but aside from those 2 chapters, I do more than 2 chapters a day worth of reading. But I know if I push myself to 3 chapters a day for January, I won't meet that. So I'm sticking with 2. And I'm, reading smaller books in between. So that's why this is bookmarked. I'm going to try to fit this in after I read a couple comics. I want to finish the Long Price Quartet, or at least I want to read book 2 and see if the series is for me, because while I enjoyed book 1, I think I gave it a 3. I did not enjoy it as much as a lot of people have enjoyed it. I know Sam from My Samwise loved it. I know Alan from Library of Alexandria loves it. I know Tabitha from Books, no, not Books, Beverages, and Besties. I am so sorry. I know Tabitha really enjoys it. I personally did not find book 1 to be as compelling as a lot of people do, but I've heard one of the best things this series does is follow the characters through time. So there hasn't been this time jump, because it's the first novel. So I'm hoping book 2 will really hook me. So I've got some comics too. We'll take a little break from books. We're going to come back. So I want to read the next 2 omnibuses of J.L.I. This is like a sitcom Justice League. It's a ton of fun. You have characters like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. And yeah, it's just a ton of fun. It's zany hijinks and lovable characters. I absolutely love it. This is a huge surprise for me because I never would have thought I'd be into this character. I've never cared about the Flash at all. Honestly, I think I just care about the Flash when Mark Waid writes him, and only when it's Wally West, because I don't think the fastest man alive is a cool concept to me. But the way Mark Waid is like, no, this is Wally West. Like, he's the fastest man alive, but he's not as smart as the other Flash, and he has a lot to live up to, and he's not as fast as the other Flash, at least where we pick up in this story. And he's got this budding romance with Linda. Great relationship, by the way. I've heard that, like, before Mark Waid came onto the scene, he was kind of a playboy, and he didn't treat Linda great. I am treating the Mark Waid run as my beginning and end with this character, and I love their relationship. I think Wally is he's such a sweetheart. I love the way he treats Linda. I love the way I just think he's a phenomenal character. And yeah, this cemented Wally West as probably one of my top 5 DC characters of all time, at least when Mark Waid's writing him. All right, another series that I'm very enthusiastic to get back to is Paternus by Dirk Ashton. This series is awesome. I read Rise of the Gods recently, like 3-4 months ago, audiobooked it. I have all the audiobooks on Audible, so that's how I'm going to be, digesting this series. Loved that first book. It felt like such a fun urban fantasy. I say urban fantasy. It takes place in modern day, but there's all these different godlike creatures that are all the children of this one creature called Father. Oh, it's so badass. I love it. And then a series that I'm unsure. I'm pretty much caught up. I just have the new release to read, and it's Dresden Files, 12-month. I don't know. I'm just kind of jaded on Dresden Files. I really don't like the perviness in the series. It feels like Dresden is not aging as much as he should be. He's still ogling 18-year-old girls, and he's like 40, and he's a dad, and he should have grown out of a lot of these different mannerisms. And I get that some of these quirks are intrinsically Harry, but I think some of them just show how dated the character can be. I loved the series pre-changes. This was on track to be a top 10 series of all time for me. Harry Dresden, I thought, was such an amazing character. Probably at a time, he was my favorite magic-based character in all of fantasy literature. He is not that anymore, but I really, I still have a fondness for Harry Dresden, and I think if I don't read each Dresden Files book, there will be a lingering curiosity about whatever happened to Harry Dresden. So I'll probably read 12-month. I'm just not in a rush to do it. All right, we have 12th World. I wanted to read this on release day. This is The Cure for Living, book 2 in the 12th World, sequel to Dreams of the Dying by Nicholas Lietzau. Super excited to get to this. I love Dreams of the Dying. I'll probably get a Dreams of the Dying tattoo. I think it's an amazing book, and I can't wait to read the sequel. I hope it delivers on what Dreams of the Dying set up. Oh yeah, this is a brand new series I just started. Or not brand new, but brand new to me. I just started the Ash and Sand trilogy. I'm still like 10% of the way into book 1, but I'm loving it so far. And if the book 1 continues to have this level of quality, I'll probably read the trilogy straight through. I'm not in the middle of this, but I want to start and at least get through one book of it. And that is The Book of the Ice by Mark Lawrence. I've read all his trilogies. he's ever written in release order. So I've read all the way up to his Impossible Times. I haven't read Book of the Ice, haven't read the Library Trilogy, and I haven't read the first book in his new series. But I really want to read all of his trilogies in order so I can see his growth as an author. That's just what I like, reading authors' bibliographies in order. All right. Then when we talk classics, oh, this is the Exile. I was looking for this earlier. Yeah, I'm getting to the Exile this year. In terms of classics, there's two that have been on my radar for a really long time. The Arabian Nights, or 1001 Nights. So this is a collection of short stories, so it can fit in between, I can fit them in between my 2 chapters a day with Janny Wirtz's books. And I'm just very curious about 1001. Ever since they mentioned it multiple times in Count of Monte Cristo, I'm like, oh, I really want to read 1001 Nights. And I'm going to. And then this will be happening shortly, like within a month. I'm reading Moby Dick. I've started Moby Dick, never finished it. This time I'm finishing it. It is the great American novel, or at least that's what many would lead you to believe. I am finishing Moby Dick. Oh, big one. One of my biggest goals this year is to finish the King James Version of the Bible. Last year, it was the complete works of William Shakespeare. This year, it is the Bible. Next year, I'm thinking about either La Morte d'Arthur or the Mahabharata. Maybe both. But yeah, I really want to get through the King James Version. I am currently... I just finished the Book of Ezra. First and Second Chronicles, there was a lot of repetition there, but making my way through. I am agnostic. I'm not doing this as a person of faith. I'm doing this more academically. The Bible is referenced in so many works. In fact, I think a big part of why I didn't understand Dante's Divine Comedy is that I did not have a lot of biblical knowledge. So I'm reading through the Bible. I will not be changing back to a Christian faith. I grew up Roman Catholic, but I don't see myself ever adhering to that faith again. After I read the King James Version of the Bible, which I am doing King James Version, a lot of people hear that and they're like, no, why don't you read NIV or KJV or this version or that version? It's like, I'm doing this for academic reasons, for my own self-interest, like for my own knowledge. And most fictional works reference the King James Version of the Bible. That's the most reference within the English language that I have found, at least in my literary journey. So that is why I'm going the King James Version. But after I read the King James Version, I may read the Catholic Apocrypha, those like 6 to 8 books, I forget how many, that were included in the Catholic Bible. I don't know if they were taken out during the schism from England, schism from the Vatican. I'm not sure. I have not done any historical research on that. But I'm hoping to read the Bible and then, some other books related to the Bible. And then maybe the Quran too. I could fit the Quran in. But let me know down in the comment section below what your priority reads are this year. And if you've read any of my priority reads. And as always, stay safe, guys. Peace.